Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Witcher Wednesdays. I apologise if it doesn't sound amazing or anything like that. It's my second time recording, I've had some audio issues. Hopefully, everything goes well this time. Now, this episode originally was going to be about me talking about finding the hook. So, what it is that brings me back to playing the game over and over again. Because when I was first kind of conceptualising this episode, I hadn't found the hook yet. There wasn't something that really was bringing me back to the game each time, other than the fact I was playing it for this series. I never was thinking whilst I was playing it, oh, this is a waste of time, blah 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 blah, or anything like that, but I also wasn't just blown away and thinking to myself, oh, I can't wait to get home and play Witcher 3. I was just kind of like, yeah, it's fun, not too fussed, meh. But now I have found that hook, so this episode's no longer going to be quite about me struggling to find it. Instead it's me going, yeah, this is what I really like about this game. And the thing I like about this game, if the title doesn't give it away, which it almost certainly will, is the great variety of adversaries in this game. I'm using that term instead of enemies, because I don't feel comfortable calling one of the things in here an enemy so much. Actually, there's a couple of things which I'm not 100% certain on calling enemies or monsters or stuff like that. I really struggle with the terminology for this. Adversaries, I said adversaries first, didn't I? Adversaries is kind of what I'm going with. So kind of on the lowest tier, you've got the mobs of enemies. So little grunt creatures like wolves and bandits. Stuff that you just tear through without really thinking about too much. They don't cause you a problem, they're basically there just to die. Yeah, they just populate the world with more enemies, so you've got fodder to kill. That's essentially all they are. After that, though, there's the individual creatures, such as bears or the basic raves, who still aren't difficult to kill, but at least you have to not be sleepwalking whilst coming against them, because they can deal some decent damage to you, even if they are pretty simple to deal with yourself. And next up, I'm actually going to jump to, like, the main enemy of the game, almost. The Wild Hunt. Yeah, the antagonist, sort of, from what I can tell, they've not actually popped up too much. There was the bit in the first time I played, but in my latest play session, they popped up again. And they seem, because they've not been showing up so much, they're still quite mysterious. Actually, they've shown up 3 times. Yeah, they've shown up a few times, but it's always just cutscenes, where it's like, oh, they don't really say much. There's been like 10 words maybe spoken by them. They've just got this mysterious aura about them, which works quite well, especially seeing as they look really intimidating and pretty damn badass. The visual styling of them is just amazing, and I know full well what thumbnail I'm using for this. Take a look at that thumbnail and tell me those enemies aren't just awesome. They remind me of, what's-her-face from For Honor? Miss Pentagon Lady. Yeah, the main antagonist for the For Honor single player. She had such a cool look as well. Just evil knights. Evil knights can look awesome. So, as well as talking about the Wild Hunt, I did want to mention boss battles, because this is what kind of changed my opinion on whether or not I found a hook for the game. Now, I started off, episode 2 was about the Griffin, basically. The Griffin fight was that entire, like, video, pretty much. And it wasn't really a difficult fight, but it was an exciting set piece, and kind of gave a feel for how boss fights can be in this game. The whole dodging, rolling around, using your signs, attacking when there's an opening. It's like, oh, I was about to compare it to Dark Souls. Don't compare them to Dark Souls. So many games did the rolling about and stabbing enemy before Dark Souls, but it's always like, oh no, it's ripping off Dark Souls. No, it isn't. But yeah, it's like Dark Souls, kind of, in the way you move around the enemy. No, just the movement and striking when there's an opening. That just kind of, it was a tutorial boss fight more than anything. And the second boss fight thing I probably had was the Noom Wraith, which was a different approach to the boss battle. Instead of it being just all out, kill the enemy, attack lots, use your abilities and stuff to take them down in a one-on-one fight, it was a multi-stage thing, where first off there was a fight, But then I had to kind of loot around the village, do all of that stuff, try and find a particular artifact, then after that get back to the Noon Wraith, prepare for the fight, and then go for the big all-out boss battle. That was nice, because it added something different than just, oh, kill this one enemy. It's good to have different approaches when you're doing boss battles, especially in a game such as this, where you'll get a fair few boss battles as you go along. Now, most recently is the enemy that has sold me on boss battles. Quite difficult to say at times, that is. And that is a werewolf that I'm hunting. I've tracked down a werewolf. There's been quite a nice little kind of, not quite a mystery, but something where you talk to people and you're kind of like, oh, I know what's going on, I'm suspicious of these people. And then you just like, oh, I've stumbled across this werewolf, have I? I think I know what's going on here. But I haven't actually beat the werewolf. So I can't, like, confirm 100% everything's happening the way I thought it did. Something like that? Yeah, something like that. Because it's a case of, I can't beat the werewolf yet. I need to be stronger. I got the werewolf down to about a third of its health, so it's got 3 health bars. You should be able to probably see this on screen at some point. And I got it down to the lowest health bar kind of thing of it. And as soon as that happened, it gained stupidly good health regeneration. To the point of every time I hit it, it basically instantly regenerates the same amount of health that I just dealt damage. So it's pretty much unbeatable right now. Which is obviously a bit of a pain when you're trying to beat it. That being said, I've had tons of fun in the past with boss battles in games where it's really difficult and you have to know a specific strategy or come back when you're stronger. That was always a big thing for me in the Final Fantasy games. I loved the boss battles of those, and studying them, working out how I could do them early, what tactics work best, if there's any things you can get by doing it in an alternative way. Boss battles in games are great, and I don't seem to be encountering them that much in most of the games I play. So having The Witcher, which is throwing boss battles at me every few hours, is really quite satisfying. And I'm probably going to talk more about boss battles in detail in the future, because I'd like to talk about not just boss battles in The Witcher, but also in games like Final Fantasy 8 and 9, which I loved when I was younger. Also, I've got Titanfall 2 boss battles, there's great stuff in that. I'm going to make a whole episode about boss battles, because I can make a whole episode about boss battles. Expect that within the coming months. But before I go, I'd like to apologise for the heat audio issues. It's baking hot right now. I am sweating as I sit here and record this, just because it is so hot. That's making my computer fan go vrrr, so the audio may not be perfect. I would have liked to record this in the evening, but I have an actual job I still have to go to, so I don't really get a choice in when I record. But thank you all for coping with this, even if the quality's not quite as good as it could have been. If you did enjoy though, do leave a like, because the likes at the moment are what convinced me to keep making this series. Because even though it might only get 100 odd views, if there's 20 likes, that's like a fifth of the people watching enjoyed it, which is good. As always though, thanks for watching. Sarge out.